Welcome to Life Devotions. I'm Robert Maasbach. You know, the Bible talks in Psalm 63 that my soul thirsts, my flesh cries out to the living God. David wrote this psalm while he was in the wilderness, being persecuted, going through all kinds of trials. You know, friends, we all go through difficulties at times. Sometimes they seem to never end. What is the answer? Sometimes we're just praying, Lord, take away this problem. Just like the Apostle Paul did in 2 Corinthians 12. The devil was constantly afflicting him with everything that could go wrong. Every time he would set himself out to do the will of God, to serve Jesus and bring his love to people in the world, everything you can imagine would go wrong. He'd have shipwreck, he'd have storms, he would be persecuted, he would even be stoned and beaten, and he would go through everything that you can imagine to go wrong. Thank God that he knew his conscience was right with God, or he would have thought that the Lord was against him. But he would write to us that in these things we're more than conquerors through the love of God. That nothing can separate us from God's love. And friends, perhaps you're praying right now, Lord, let this trial end. Let these difficulties pass away. And sure, they will. But what is the great answer? It's not that these problems go away. It's kind of like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fire. You know, they said God is able to save us from the fire, but if not, we will not bow. In other words, if we have to go through the fire, we stay loyal to God. And God did not save them from the fire. He didn't take the fire away. It actually got worse. The king was so angry that he made the fire 7 times hotter. But that didn't stop Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego being loyal and faithful to God. You know, God had something bigger in mind to save them from the fire. He saved them in the fire. And I want to encourage you today. Perhaps your problems aren't gone yet, and you've prayed and said, Lord, why aren't you helping me? Why aren't you here for me? And I want to encourage you to open your eyes and see that in the midst of your fire, in the midst of your trial, the Lord is with you. You know, it says in Psalm 138, whatever I'm going through, the Lord will safely bring me through. And the same was for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. In the middle of that fire, the Lord was with them. And that was the greater miracle. That turned the heart of the king that was against them for them. That gave them favor and promotion that they couldn't have gotten any other way. And I believe if you keep your heart loyal to God, you'll see the Lord show himself strong in your life. And perhaps God's got a promotion for you that you couldn't have even imagined and that could not come about another way. One thing I know for sure, that if you love God and believe that he'll work out his purpose in your life, he'll work things together for your good. Even the things that are unfair, even the things that shouldn't have happened, even the things that are very painful, if you keep your heart right with God, he'll work it for the good. You know, I heard one man say from Psalm 103, where it says, do not sit in the seat of the scornful. I heard him describe it that the scornful is the man who's become bitter. And he begins to speak in an unkind way about circumstances. And what the Lord is saying, if you'll delight yourself, there in Psalm chapter 1, if you'll delight yourself in the Lord and meditate in his word, it'll keep your heart from going bitter. It'll keep you from saying, Lord, I will bless you at all times. Your praise will be upon my lips. And I will look to you and be radiant, and you keep your heart right with God. And wow, what the Lord is able to do. He's able to make you prosper even in the middle of difficult times. He's able to give you success even in the times when maybe it's economically not the right time for it. You see, God is the one that gives power to gain wealth. He is the one that will prosper you. He can cause the greatest miracles to happen during the time of your greatest trials. You know, Smith Wigglesworth was a great apostle of God, and he says that your best time is your hardest time. It is your robing time. It's the time you're coming into God's inheritance. And I want to encourage you with the same. Embrace God's life and blessing on you right now. Right now, while I'm talking to you, why not join hands with me, so to speak? Believe with me in heart and spirit that you're going to see God's greatest miracles, God's greatest blessings, God's greatest provision, God's greatest answers in the middle of what you're going through. Father, I pray for my dear friend that they will see such grace and miracles in their lives right now. Whatever they're going through, Father, you'll show yourself strong in the midst of it. And I thank you for your miracles in Jesus' name. We love you and we believe in you. Keep tuning in. I'll see you next time. God bless you.